Andrea, I'm going to check you into the boards, high stick you, and maybe a hook to get you to talk about Private Eyes, the new mystery for Hallmark Plus. It's an old one for if you live in Canada. Jason Priestley and Cindy Sampson. Are you ready to score a hat trick? I don't know how that even makes sense.
I'd rather dunk a ball, but I guess.
Well, find us a basketball mystery, and I am down for it. Hockey is my favorite sport, so we may see where this is going between the two of us. But are you ready to
I'm ready.
drop the puck? And this is Eric.
This is Andrea.
This is Hallmark Mysteries and more.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark channel.
I actually lied because from what I read, it did air in the United States in Ion. I don't know what Ion is, if that's like just a cable channel or something. I've never heard of it. So I think if you lived in the United States, you could get it, but for the most part,
2016 it originally aired.
Yeah.
Hallmark is doing well.
Well, the other thing I'll say is the big news is they are right now maybe or just finished or getting ready. They're doing a reboot of the show that's Private Eyes West Coast that takes place in British Columbia. I know Jason Priestley is involved. I don't know if Cindy Sampson is as well, but
Ooh. So. Well, that'll be interesting. And she was in Spencer Sisters.
I think she was in like one episode. I think the lawyer episode, I think.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of fun.
It is. Well, those Canadians are always in everything.
Well, do you want to talk about it?
Let's roll.
Okay, so season 1, episode 1. Now there's 5 seasons. This is like a commitment. I didn't know I was committing to that, Eric. This is a lot.
You don't have to do every.
In the polls, I voted no.
I know. You're one of 2 people. It was overwhelmingly for it. 2 people voted against, and you have 2 accounts, so maybe.
I think I was like, no, I'll just vote once. Maybe I did vote. I'm not sure. Could have been both me. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. Not because I don't want to, just because I have a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Summertime with young kids. Not that it's summer, but busy.
It's about to be.
So here is Private Eyes. Well, thankfully, though, on the other flip side, Hallmark is giving us no new content. So there's that. I don't have to review anything at all. So we will dive into Private Eyes. The first episode was called The Code. Matt Shade, a hockey scout, joins forces with a private investigator to look into the case of his client, a young player who falls ill under suspicious. That's it. Under suspicious. That's what it says.
I'll finish and say circumstances. What a sleuth I am. I was able to figure out the
under
clue.
Suspicious, period. That is part of the mystery. All right. Well, so we're going to kind of go through this like we did through the Spencer Sisters, the same format. So we'll start with what we liked. For myself,
I want to say one quick thing. What we decided we're going to do, though, is we're not going to give, because this is brand new, probably for most people, we're not going to give away the spoilers. So we'll hint about what happens.
I'm not going to promise I won't accidentally give away.
We'll hint about what happens. And if it is there, it's sort of an accidental on something else. But it's not our intent to.
But I also feel like once people, if they're going to follow along, they're probably going to watch it week to week as we review it, would be my guess, too. So if we slip up, it's not the end of the world. So what I liked, Matt and Angie, I enjoyed them together. I thought they had great chemistry. I liked the daughter, Jules, who is Matt's daughter in this one. Plus, I was intrigued enough by the teasers that they gave us. So like they had that newspaper clipping and then kind of Angie's looking at and we're like, what is this? I think is it her father? We're to assume?
I think so.
Okay. They didn't say that, did they? We're just assuming?
I'm not sure. They may have said it, they may not have, but I think it's a good guesstimate that if it's not her father, it's a relative.
Important. Okay.
Yeah.
So I liked that because it kind of gave us like something that they're going to tease out probably throughout the rest of the series. I thought it had good pacing. So for me, I enjoyed it. You know, some of the mysteries, they can get like a little slow. This is definitely faster paced than Rosemary and Thyme. And again, I still liked Rosemary and Thyme, but this is definitely a little bit faster if you prefer that speed. I thought overall it was a really good first episode because sometimes those first episodes can really drag and they try to like introduce all the things and you're kind of bored with it. But I thought they really did a good job of pacing it and then also introducing things along the way. What about you?
I agree with you. I thought the premise of the two characters, I really liked them pairing them up together. I like the fact, the Jason Priestley coming from the hockey thing. I think that's an interesting angle that we've seen this dynamic. It's just a little different angle, introducing the sports into it. You and I are both sports fans, so I think there's an element that's going to be like. I personally didn't think the chemistry was quite there yet, but I saw the building blocks because once again, it's the first episode, right? So we're just pairing a lot of things together. The other thing is, I like the fact that they went with the male sleuth and the female. Now, well, she's not a police detective. She is a professional, private eye. So she is the authority figure, so to speak. So I like the role reversal. We get that in Gourmet Detective. We get it in Dancing Detective, or whatever you may think of Dancing Detective. But so I like the little flip flop there. It pretty much, and I can talk about it a little bit later, but it's essentially Castle with a Canadian hockey player, right? It's
Still
got
haven't
the
seen Castle.
famous amateur male, sleuth who gets brought into it. He's got the smart, witty daughter, the parent who lives with him, the smart, gritty female pro who's got this sort of mystery thing going on that we're going to be teased with. So it's very much of a blueprint of that. But Castle was great, so I think it's going to be exciting.
Well, what we didn't like, so for me, I don't think this is a spoiler, but like it opens with the young hockey player collapsing. And as a parent, like that is hard to watch, like that scene. So my only thing I didn't like was really honestly that scene. I was like, oh no, that was kind of like me on the edge of like, am I going to enjoy this? Like, what is happening? They're going to kill off this teenage boy playing sports. Oh my gosh. And then I didn't know at first. You're like, oh, is this his son? Because, you weren't
Right.
sure exactly. But yeah, that was my only thing I didn't like was just seeing that.
For me, I just found the episode because once again, it's the first episode, so they had a lot of backstory to fill in. We had to get to know who all the different characters are. So everything seemed a little bit superficial, that we didn't go too deep and we got introduced to a lot. But to your point, I thought they paced it well, and it wasn't one of the ones that left me like totally like, what's going on, because they threw everything at you. But it's still at the same time, it just was a surface level. I assume, we'll get to know a little bit more. But so, like I say, it's nothing really bad about it.
Well, what we thought of the actual mystery. So I thought the mystery was intriguing. I like that it had twists. And that's all I'll say because my next note will tell you too much. I'll just say I liked it. Leave it at that.
I'm right there with you. I thought it was a really interesting premise. And I liked the fact that there were layers to this mystery, right? You're like, oh, it's here, but then it turns out it's there. So there's a lot there that keeps you intrigued till the end. But I also think, as I kind of just previously said, it sort of glossed over the actual mystery per se because we were getting to know the characters. And so some time that maybe in the future would be spent a little bit more on the sleuthing
No, that's boring, Eric.
there. So
That's too boring. I feel
don't
like
know.
what you like, what I prefer the light. I don't have time to invest in that. I mean, again, I think it just comes on what do you have time for? Like when I watch TV, I love like right now The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I don't think that's quite what it's called, but if you watch that, I'm like, yes, give me the easy breezy. I don't have to really pay attention. That is what I like, and this is that type of mystery where you don't have to be like super paying attention to every
Yeah.
scene, because again, I feel like most people do not watch TV fully invested into what they're watching, period, unless it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's all I gotta say.
I think that actually just did bring up a very big difference of the you and me, right? This 44, it seems like the 44-minute one is like perfect for you because you get in, you get out, you get all
Yeah.
your fun stuff, you get to meet these
Yeah.
characters. And I like these BritBox ones that are 4 episodes long that you sort of slowly peel away, right? And
No.
those are the ones that drive you crazy. So,
No.
but once again, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought they kind of glossed over a little bit too much, but that's fine.
Well, standout scene of performance. I liked the boxing scene when Angie hit the young player Sam in the cheek. I thought that was super fierce and fun and like just boom. She's like, no, you can't hit a youth. You can't hit a youth. And then
But
she does it. So I found that to be fun.
it's funny. I was going to have that as mine as well because it shows that kind of like I said before I thought it was a really good insight into who I think her character is going to become. Right. So she's the private detective. She's not the real detective. So she maybe doesn't follow all the rules per se. And that was a great example. But for me, I went with Doug Gilmore, who was just a little bit of a partner, but he was an actual professional hockey player who was in the the Hall of Fame for the NHL. And it's funny because when I was watching it, there's a scene where uh, you had Jason Priestley and Cindy, they're walking next to each other, and Jason is shorter than she is, right? And you're like, oh, he's supposed to be the professional athlete. But I'm like, it's a hockey player, and hockey players, heck, they can be 5'8" and totally fine, right? You don't have to be basketball. It'd be a little tough to be a basketball player, whatever. And Doug Gilmore was noticeably, he was like considered a shorter hockey player, but he still was successful. So I thought it was a great parallel for the Matt Shade character and sort of justifying like, yeah, he could have been a hockey player because he was very similar to Doug Gilmore, who was in this episode. More hockey than you wanted to know.
My eyes just glazed over.
And then the thing about Doug Gilmore too is he's a huge Minnesota Timberwolf fan.
Now I'm back in. And by the way, the Minnesota Timberwolves are in the Western Conference Finals. Thank you very much.
Have they been there before? Like back in the old
last year?
Oh, they were last year?
Have they been there, Eric? This is 2 years in a row now. This is the third time in franchise history. 2 years in a row.
Shows you how much I pay attention to the NBA.
Well, any final thoughts on this one? My only notes was I'm just excited to watch more. I'm excited to see where this goes. I think they all have set up enough of the backstory that I'm intrigued to see where all of the main characters, even his dad, his daughter, I think that was great too. Like his ex-wife, clearly, like she's somewhere, and I'm sure they'll introduce her at some point as well. So all of that I'm excited to see.
By the way, Castle you just reminded me, he has an ex-wife too who comes in and causes all sorts of havoc. She's not there and then she comes in. So we'll see if she's a tornado of an ex-wife.
That's funny.
Upsetting all the stability. I'm with you. I'm excited to see where it goes, but mostly because when I put up the little poll with everyone but you saying, yes, we should do it, I had so many comments of people saying they just love the series. So I'm just going off our fans.
So we can have some spoilers. They've already seen it, Eric.
Well, but I think most people have not.
Yeah, but if I'm going to listen to a review podcast, I'm going to watch the episode and then I'm going to listen to the review.
Well, this is the first one, so people can catch up.
Yes.
So maybe we'll have a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Anything else for you then?
Yeah. Dear Rouge is so in the beginning, the Private Eye song is a cover by Dear Rouge, who's the band who did that, who I liked their version 1,000 times better than Hall & Oates. I don't like Hall & Oates. And so I was really excited to hear the other version. And then I was disappointed at the end to hear the Hall & Oates come in and finish it. So I'm hoping they keep using their version versus the Hall & Oates. That's it.
All right.
Well, you're looking so disappointed in me that you're a Hall & Oates fan or something. You do like Michael Bolton, so
I do like Hall & Oates. I like Michael Bolton more, but yes. All right.
On that note, what do you say we watch a little Mystery 101 and talk about that?
Okay. All right. Yay.
Until next time, Andrea.
Bye.